What is going on, everybody? This is Yes, I Read That, and today I am reviewing The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. The Wise Man's Fear is the second book in the Kingkiller Chronicles series, and I have reviewed the first book already. If you're unfamiliar with the series, I recommend you to check out the first book because I will spoil stuff that happens there. This book continues the story where it left off. Quoth is still telling his life story, and it is now the second day of him telling the story. The third day will be published in the book Doors of Stone, which is not out yet, unfortunately, so if you don't like unfinished series, then don't read this. I try not to spoil big things in this book. I'll try to give a brief overview of the plot and then come to my review. Okay, so the story picks up right where it left off. Quoth is still at the university. We get a little bit of studying and Quoth and Ambrose, and I want to point out one scene that I really enjoyed. It's where Quoth has a little bit of a breakdown and Ori is just super cute and comforts him, and it's a very cool scene. I like the scene very much. But well, Quoth continues studying, he gets access to the archives again, he is in Imre again, meeting with Dana, and everything seems kind of cool, until suddenly there is a trial because he said the name of the wind in Imre, and that means there will be a public trial because he used magic. Now this public trial isn't very bad for him, but it's very bad for the image of the university, so it is pretty much guaranteed that he will get a very high tuition in the next term. So he decides it's better to quit for a term, wait till this all is forgotten, and he decides to leave the university for one term. So this book mainly focuses on his travels. He has a lot of adventures. He's first employed by the mayor of Winters, who is basically the head of the nobility in Winters, which means he's like a king. And next he is hunting some bandits in the woods, encountering Felurian, who is a fey creature, which is a bit like a fairy. And in the end he travels to Ademre, to the Adem mercenaries, and I really enjoyed that part because I really like the Adem mercenaries. They are very separated from the normal society, and they're a bit like the Shaolin monks in China because they are martial artists, but they also have a huge culture going for them. So I think they're really interesting. I think that's a very interesting culture. So let's keep the recap nice and short, and I'll tell you what I liked about the book and what I didn't like about it. And in fact, I think this book was a bit worse than the first one, but it's still a very good book. So I still enjoyed the main aspects that were present in the first one, like the world and the prose. The prose is still amazing in this book. I mean, that's probably the main factor why I like these books so much. Quoth, the character itself, becomes a little more obvious. We can see a bit more what's happening because of all his lies and, well, it's just more obvious that he's sometimes very cold and sometimes very cruel. And I really like that. There's more character development. There is a lot of world building here. We get to see a lot of different countries and cultures, and I really enjoyed that. And on top of that, we get more magic. We get more lore on the Amir, more lore on the Chandrian. And, you know, it's just very cool to see it all being developed. And as I said, Ademre is awesome. I like the martial arts style with their huge culture, and you know, the Lithani, they have this value system, and I think it's really awesome, and I think there's a lot of wisdom buried in there. What I didn't like about this book is in the beginning I noticed it did lack a little bit of action maybe, but it's not that bad. The book is still very good. The other thing I didn't like is something I will have to explain in the spoiler section because I don't want to spoil the books for you. My dislike has something to do with Felurian and the aftermath and his stay in Ademre. Quoth's character changes a bit there, but I'll talk about this later in the spoiler section, so I don't want to spoil you. So yeah. My score for this book is a 9 out of 10, and I think it's a great book. as I said, I just have this one gripe with it, and otherwise I really enjoyed the story as well. I like the part where he's serving the mayor, I like the part where he's in Ademre, I really like where he is hunting the bandits, but Felurian and, well, I mean, maybe it's taste, but I think it's a bit exaggerated. And I'll go into the spoiler section now and tell you exactly what I mean with this. So first things first, I want to talk about something that still happens in the university, and that is Quoth and Ambrose. And I think, I don't know, it's just so childish and dumb what he does. And I think he'll have a bad time in book 3 with Ambrose, so let's see. The thing I really didn't like is Felurian being so sex-driven. And I mean, it's a story, but I think it was a bit exaggerated. And then just after we had that stretch, he gets to a civilization where sex is totally normal and women just don't get pregnant. So, I don't know, it's a bit weird. In every other aspect though, Ademre was awesome. I really liked his stay in the Fae as well. Denna and Quoth in this book is a bit hard because all his lies start to surface a little bit and it starts falling apart at the end a bit. And I don't know, I don't think it's gonna be beautiful in the 3rd book. But yeah, in this book you can really see the consequences of Quoth always lying and always being like only focused on his own. You know, he's very selfish and he's a liar and he's a thief, and I think we're gonna see some more consequences in the 3rd book, but we'll see. I really like this book. Let me know what you thought of it. I really enjoy these books, and I'll see you in the next review. Till then, bye.